Okay, so we all know AI can spit out code, right? But what if I told you there's a way to move beyond just, tossing a simple prompt into the void and hoping for the best? What if you could actually turn it into a real coding partner? Well, that's exactly what we're talking about with something called vibe engineering.
And right here, you see the massive difference. On one side, you've got vibe coding, just a vague idea like, hey, make me a chore app. On the other side, vibe engineering is a whole different ballgame. It's a structured prompt that ends with the most important part. Ask me questions to clarify. Seriously, that one little invitation, that's the secret sauce. That's how you unlock what this thing can really do.
All right, let's dive in. We're going to start at the very beginning in what we'll call the crawl phase. And the mission here is simple. Can we use this vibe engineering idea to build a brand new app completely from the ground up? Let's say a chore tracker for the office. See, vibe engineering isn't about giving a command. It's a conversation, a loop. You kick things off with that structured prompt we talked about, but then, and this is key, you put it in plan mode. This forces the AI to come back to you before it starts writing a single line of code. It gives you a chance to clarify things, to refine the plan, and only when you're both on the same page do you hit go and let it execute. And this really is the whole point. It completely reframes how you think about the AI. It stops being some kind of magic black box you just hope understands you. Instead, it becomes a partner. Like having a fellow senior engineer sitting next to you. You can hash out the plan, bounce ideas around, and figure out exactly what you're going to do before you dive in. And listen, just because you have an AI partner doesn't mean the old rules go out the window. You've still got to commit early and commit often. Think of it as your safety net, right? It gives you a checkpoint to fall back on in case the AI decides to, well, go a little crazy. Okay, so that's crawl, but let's level up to the next phase, walk. I mean, building a new app from scratch is one thing, but what about the real world? What happens when you want to bring an AI into an existing project, one that already has its own code base, its own rules, its own baggage? And this is the question, isn't it? How on earth is an AI supposed to understand your project? With all its specific coding standards, its unique architecture, all the little quirks you've built up over time. Are you really supposed to explain all that in every single prompt? No way. Well, the solution is actually pretty elegant. It's a single file called claude.md. Think of it like a cheat sheet, a briefing document for your AI. The magic is that whatever you put in this file gets automatically injected into every single session. The AI always has the context, it always knows the rules of your codebase. So what do you actually put in this file? It's pretty simple, really. You can think of it in 3 layers. First, there's the what. What's the tech stack? What's the project structure? Then the why. Why do these different parts of the code exist? What's their purpose? And finally, and maybe most importantly, the how. How do we do things around here? What are your specific rules, like always run tests after a change, or always create a Git branch for new work? And here's where it gets awesome. Look at this. We put one simple rule in that claude.md file, always create a Git branch for new work. And now, when we give it a super vague prompt like fix a bug, what's the first thing it does? It creates a new Git branch. It's following our house rules automatically, without us ever having to say it again. That's a game changer. Okay, so we've covered crawl and walk. We can build new stuff, we can bring the AI into old stuff. Now it's time for the run phase. Let's see if we can use our AI partner to do something really big, something complex, like a major architectural refactor. And the goal we're setting is pretty ambitious. We want to make our little chore app work in real time. So if I add a chore on my computer, it should instantly pop up on your screen. No refreshing the browser. And that, as you know, is not a simple bug fix. This is going to require some deep architectural level changes. Now, for a job this big, you might want to consider YOLO mode. Yeah, it's a real thing. You can tell the AI to just skip asking for permission to run commands. It just does them. It's definitely risky, you gotta be careful, but the speed you get is absolutely insane. But even when you're going full YOLO mode, you can't just be reckless. You still need a strategy. We use a pretty simple framework here. First, tell the AI to explore the relevant files. Then, have it plan by coming up with a few different solutions. You pick the best one, let it code it up, and then of course you review and commit the final changes. And this is a great example of that strategic prompting. We don't just say, make it real time. That's too vague. Instead, we say, explore these files and give us 3 options to move forward. Forcing it to come up with multiple paths makes it think more like an architect and usually leads to way better solutions. And check out what it came back with. It gave us a couple of simple client-side only options, but it also correctly identified that for true real-time sync that works for everyone everywhere, the best path forward was to build a brand new WebSocket server, something that wasn't even in the project before. I mean, that's not just coding, that's high-level architectural thinking. So we picked option 3, the WebSocket server, and just let it run. The result? Get this. In 5 minutes. 5 minutes. The AI planned, built, and integrated a new server, and then refactored the entire front end to use it for real-time updates. A job like that could take a person hours, maybe even a whole day, done in 5 minutes. So what does all this mean? This whole crawl, walk, run approach to vibe engineering. It's not just about a new tool. It fundamentally changes your role as a developer. It really requires a whole new mindset. The old way of thinking, right, was that the AI is just a magic code generator. I give it a prompt, it spits out code. But the new mindset is that the AI is your senior engineering partner. Your job shifts. You spend less time in the weeds writing individual lines of code and more time being the architect. You design the system, you set the strategy, and then you collaborate with your AI partner to bring it to life. This whole process just elevates your work. You're moving up from implementation details to high-level strategy and design. So really, the final question isn't about some cool new tool, it's about a whole new way of working. And it kind of leaves you wondering, doesn't it? Is your next coworker going to be an AI?